should discourage people attacking people. What is black, white, black, black? People should stop attacking people. We must learn to live together respectfully in a civilized way.
Until conservative radio started howling about a mainstream media blackout and silence from the civil rights community, this bus beating went almost unremarked. Yet if the assailants had been white and the victim black, there would have been instant outrage.
Two boys approached me, and they were two African-American boys. And one of them was about 15. He says, "Well, I'm going to kill your baby." And I said, "Please don't kill my baby."
The Brunswick, Georgia killing of a toddler has also received far less attention than, say, Trayvon Martin's tragic death at the hands of George Zimmerman.
I put my arms over my baby and he shoves me. And then he shot my baby right in the head.
Earlier this year, we had two black teenagers who shot a white infant in the face with a .22 caliber pistol, and we still have not heard anything from the NAACP or from the media on that case as well. So I think there's a little bit of cherry picking here for the sake of political purposes, and we need to get away from that.
Jury selection in the Brunswick, Georgia case starts Monday, and the boys are absolutely innocent until proven guilty. But isn't it fair to ask why only certain crimes push the race button? Continuing with Sheriff David Clark Jr. of Milwaukee, New York City Councilman Jumaane Williams, and the actor Benga Akinabe. Thank you. Okay, Jumaane, you first. Why do people only get riled up when a crime fits a racial stereotype?
Well, that's not true. I get riled up every time there's gun violence in my community, and I'm always out there trying to make sure it doesn't happen. What frustrates me is, like things I point out statistically, let's say for stop and frisk, for instance, doesn't work, and nobody listens. We still continue to do it because it's black and Latino community. There is a historical, systemic problem with how we deal with certain communities.
How do you explain why New York does so much better than Chicago?
The biggest issue is we should be finding out why we can look at somebody's race and statistically figure out whether they have a proper education and whether they have proper access to a job. But that's not the question we ask. And if we ask those questions, people look like we're crazy. When commissioners come before me, I say, do you believe that black and Latino young people are born uneducable and more prone to go to crime? If the answer is no, then something is wrong and we haven't fixed it.
But those things are, it's far more difficult to deal with those root problems than it is to treat these symptoms with stop and frisk, with asking these questions. Why New York does better than Chicago because we have more resources here. New York does better than Chicago for a host of other reasons other than the fact that we're racially profiling here. That's just a matter of fact.
Let me get the sheriff in here. What do you think, Sheriff? Why certain crimes ring a bell and others don't? The race bell.
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious that the race provocateurs, the race hustlers, the race demagogues, they've created a cottage industry out of this thing. And anytime something of this nature comes up, not just Trayvon Martin, I mean, that was a tragedy, but other situations as well. They capitalize on those things. It keeps their names out there. They're involved in these class action lawsuits. There's money to be made. I find it sickening when that kind of stuff happens. But just a quick comment on what was just said about why individuals commit crime. People don't commit crimes because they don't have a job. There's a more socially acceptable way to behave if you're poor or if you don't have, if you can't find a job. What I've found in my 35 years, and I've talked to a lot of homicide suspects. I was a homicide detective for a while. But what I find is that many of these individuals are just morally bankrupt. Their value system has crashed.
Okay.
We're talking about situations where...
Wait a minute. You're an elitist.
Okay.
You start elitist.
Bang up first and then Jumaane.
You're an elitist. Excuse me, sir. I actually believe your intents are honorable, like what you intend to do is honorable, but you happen to be an elitist that's disconnected from the community, despite the fact that you've served for 35 years. Calling these people morally bankrupt, and I'm not saying that some of them are not lost. Some of them don't have moral or core issues. What I am saying is that if you cannot empathize with the people you arrest, with the people you go after, then you shouldn't be going after these people. I think you're in the wrong position.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to say, and it actually scares me when he's going after. after the people he believes
sir,
are morally
with all
correct.
due respect,
people,
that's up to the
people do
voters of
commit
Milwaukee
different
County.
crimes.
But the individuals that I
let the
talk
chief get him
to,
15 seconds.
the suspects in these crimes, they are morally bankrupt. And you can dismiss that
So
if you want to. You can come up with all these
people commit
external
different
reasons
crimes
as to why
depending
they
on their
commit this type
economic
of
social
violence.
strata.